Before we get rolling, you might have noticed when I opened up Illustrator, I had some floating panels, and I was helping my daughter up in Sonoma State. She's working in Illustrator now, so I was helping her last night and had to pull some of these out because I wasn't recording videos. We were using FaceTime on the phone, and I was zooming in with the phone, showing her what to do, trying to work with one hand, which is all but impossible. But the reason I mention that is because I rebuilt my workspace, and then I went up and, hey, new workspace, and named it the exact same thing. Hey, this name already exists. It's going to overwrite the file. Yeah, that's the whole point. I want to save this workspace. Now I'm ready to roll. The first thing I want to do is hit Command minus so that I can see the entire artboard. And what's out here, if I come up to the edge, notice that word path shows up, click on it, and then right click in this white area and release the clipping mask. We want to get rid of the clipping mask, which when you release it, it selects everything. So you just can't delete, or you'll delete everything. I'm going to click out in the gray to deselect, come back, click on that path, then hit delete. And now if I hit Command A, everything that's on this page, everything that's on this graphic is now highlighted. That's all that's here. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in order to work on this. What we have here, this base geometry, can be converted into a symbol. It can be made into a pattern. You can turn it into a live paint group by selecting it. Use the live paint bucket to fill these areas with different colors. We can do so many things with this. Take it into Photoshop, make it a shape. It can be a Photoshop pattern. So these are incredibly useful. But I'll tell you, what you get out of here, you get more than you see. Because if you begin carving, begin deleting lines, deleting parts of this, you get different versions of this same symbol. So I see these as a little gold mine. And when I save these, as I played with these, I realized, hey, I want to preserve the original because I want to mess with it and see what else I can discover. So in order to preserve this, I'm going to name it original and then drag it down to the make a new layer icon in order to get a copy of my original. Then I can turn that bottom layer off, and now on this new one, I can begin to select lines. Oh, Shift Command B, I'm going to pull that back on. I've recorded this several times because I keep screwing up. When you select something in Illustrator, you get this bounding box. So you don't know what you really selected. Did I select this diagonal? Did I select an entire, 4 sides and the diagonal with it? Or is it 2 triangles that are grouped together? You don't know until you hit Shift Command B. That hides the bounding box. And if your bounding box ever disappears, it's Shift Command B to make it come back. You got it? So that makes it come and go. So right now, if I click on that, what's there? I mean, seriously, if I hit delete, well, nothing went away. Well, yeah, what went away is that short diagonal which went from the center point to the edge. If you click on it again, now you've got a diagonal, Shift Command B, that goes from this point to this point. So you can see as Zach's app is drawing this geometry, it's overlaying some vectors on top of one another. So now if we hit delete, it appears that nothing happened. But we know because we've been selecting things that something is happening. So now I have this little short vector here. What happens if I delete that? Nothing. But yes, of course, something happened. We're beginning to discover what geometry is here. This should finally reveal what's there without that diagonal line. So now if we do the same thing over here much more quickly and delete these things, we can get to a new version of this original vector, which, I don't know, you can call it V1. And not VI, how about V1 for version 1. And by the way, if you don't like the color of your selection, you can change it right here. You can change it to whatever you want. I do that all the time in order to see my selections better. So now that we got version 1, now in order to proceed, I can do one of two things. I can drag version 1 down and make a copy of it, or drag the original down and make a second copy of it and start carving away on one of these two in order to discover what other geometry can I make. Depending upon the complexity of the original geometry, I have gotten so many base images out of some of these that I'm starting to build up a gold mine of vectors straight out of Zach's apps that I can now repurpose and make a collection that looks, hey, something like this that Zach found, this bundle of polygonals, and here are shapes, and Zach's app won't create all of these, or will it? If it creates this, what is it, 12 sides? I don't know, I'm not going to count them, it's probably 10. You can delete that outer polygon and get what's inside carving away. So think about how many different shapes are in here in GeoBuilder. This, a little more labor intensive, but at the end of your work, you have got some cool stuff. So enjoy this. Play around with Zach's apps, and please, please, please remember, when you copy this off of my flash drive, don't double click on anything on the flash drive. I may try to distribute SketchLauncher throughout the classroom, put it in everybody's documents folder each period. We'll see. We'll see if that works. If that works, it'll suddenly appear and you don't have to ask me. If you do borrow the flash drive, don't do anything other than just drag a copy of SketchLauncher into your documents folder. You got it? And if there is magically a SketchLauncher already there, don't overwrite it. Got it? Have fun with this. This is such a cool collection of apps, and I think Zach's going to see a lot of success from this, and I can't wait to see what else he produces before he graduates and moves on to the next stage in life. With his own business. Yeah,